Okay, so today we are diving deep into AI-generated podcasts, specifically with Google's NotebookLM.
Hmm.
We've got some articles and user reviews on this new tool,
Right.
and it's saying it can turn your notes into engaging podcast discussions.
Yeah, and it's pretty fascinating stuff, really.
It really is.
Imagine taking like research papers or even just your meeting notes
Right.
and having AI turn them into an easy conversation.
Yeah, like it's magic, right?
Yeah.
Just like poof, instant podcast.
Exactly.
But okay, let's back up for a second.
Okay.
What exactly is NotebookLM? How does it actually work?
So at its core, NotebookLM is an AI tool.
Okay.
It's developed by Google,
Mhm.
and it analyzes all the source material you upload to it.
Okay.
This could be documents, websites, even just like your personal notes.
Like-
And then it uses all of that to create a deep dive conversation, almost like a podcast episode.
So it's not just like reading the document back to you, it's actually creating a dialogue based on it.
Exactly. And what makes it so interesting is how user-friendly it is.
Okay.
Because, it uses very complex AI, but the user experience is really simple.
Right.
You just upload your stuff, hit generate, and it does its thing.
Okay, now that is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
It sounds almost too good to be true.
Right.
So do we have any like concrete examples of what this actually sounds like?
We do.
Okay.
One of the articles mentioned someone using NotebookLM to turn the Salt and Straw website,
Okay.
that ice cream place?
Yeah.
That's known for its unique flavors,
Right.
into a podcast discussing their marketing strategy.
Hold on, stop right there for a second. So it analyzed a website, which is visual,
Right.
and turned it into an audio discussion about marketing.
I know.
That's crazy.
It's wild.
Like, how does it even begin to do that?
Right, and that's not the only example.
Okay.
It can take things like dense legal documents.
Uh.
For example, someone highlighted the ABA,
Okay.
the American Bar Association. So they had like an opinion piece on AI ethics,
Right.
and this person turned it into a podcast about AI's legal implications.
So it's like taking something very like dry and
Yeah,
turning
totally.
it into something that's like,
Yeah, engaging,
yeah, more easily digestible.
more palatable.
All right, you've got my attention.
Okay, good.
So let's talk about like what are people saying?
Right.
What are some of the benefits of this technology?
One of the most significant benefits is that it makes information more accessible,
Okay.
particularly for auditory learners
Right.
who, maybe struggle with reading long pieces of text.
Makes sense.
So instead of reading a report,
Yeah.
you could listen to a conversation about it,
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
which is a big deal.
It is a game changer for a lot of people, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely.
And even for people who aren't necessarily auditory learners,
Sure.
if you're someone who has to absorb a lot of information quickly,
Yeah.
like you're prepping for a big presentation or you're trying to learn something new,
Right.
it's like having someone who already read all the stuff,
Yeah.
prepped and ready to just discuss it with you.
Exactly, like having a study buddy
Yeah,
who's already done the reading for you.
exactly. Like having a personalized crash course. Yeah.
Totally. And it kind of goes even further because it encourages you to like really engage with the information
Right.
instead of just passively reading something.
Right.
NotebookLM makes you actively listen
Right.
and process the content in a conversational format.
It's true. It's like you're participating in the learning,
Exactly.
even though it's the AI doing the talking.
Yeah. And think about like all those notes you take.
Oh, yeah.
What if you could put those into NotebookLM
Oh, wow.
and have it create like a summary or a discussion
That's wild.
from your own thoughts?
Yeah.
That would be huge for just reflecting on stuff
It would.
and coming up with new ideas.
Okay, but we got to talk about the downsides, too,
Of course.
because no technology is perfect.
Right.
So what are some of the limitations of NotebookLM?
Well, you got to remember it's still experimental. It's got a lot of promise. But one of the biggest limitations
Yeah.
is that it can only be as good as the information you give it.
Oh, so if you feed it bad info.
Garbage in, garbage out, basically.
Right.
So you still got to think critically.
Of course.
And it's not like it replaces thinking for you.
It's a tool to help you think, not to think for you.
Right.
And it's not like perfectly natural sounding either, right?
Not yet. Anyway.
I read about that funny thing where it says affirmative response.
Yeah, instead of just saying yes,
Yeah, exactly.
that's where you can tell it's still in development.
Right, it's still learning.
Still got some quirks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any other limitations we should mention?
One big one is it only works with English right now.
Oh, really?
So if you've got notes in a different language,
it's not going to work.
not yet at least.
But I'm sure they're working on that.
Yeah, they are. Natural language processing is getting better all the time.
That's true.
So yeah, support for more languages is definitely on the way.
So it have its limitations,
Yeah.
but the potential here is huge.
Huge. It could totally change how we make and market content.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah.
Because one of the articles you sent
Right.
mentioned the potential for making money with AI-generated podcasts.
Oh, yeah. Affiliate marketing especially.
Right, exactly. Like you could build a whole podcast around a product
Exactly.
and just working your affiliate links.
It would be so easy for creators
Right.
to just turn their knowledge into a podcast series
That's incredible.
with recommendations and links all built in.
That could be massive for people.
Well, yeah, entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
content creators.
Anyone who wants to make money from what they know.
Exactly.
But we got to talk about ethics, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Because just because you can make money with something
Right.
doesn't mean you should do it unethically.
Transparency is key.
Exactly. Like, your audience needs to know
Yeah.
if you're using AI
Right.
to make this stuff.
Exactly. It's all about being responsible with this
Uh-huh.
technology.
Right, being ethical and transparent.
Exactly.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you really think about it.
It is.
Like,
yeah.
we've gone from AI barely being able to hold a conversation
Right.
to it potentially changing how we learn, earn, share information.
I know, and it makes you wonder, like, what's next?
Exactly.
Is this the beginning of AI taking over creative stuff like podcasting?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
And I'm not gonna lie, it's a little unnerving to think about like
Yeah.
what happens to human creativity, you know?
Right.
Original thought when AI can just make a whole podcast from a few bullet points.
Yeah. Well, it's a valid concern, but
Yeah.
I think it's more of an opportunity than a threat.
Okay, how so?
Well, remember these AI tools like NotebookLM.
Yeah.
They're designed to help us, not replace us.
But it's more like man with machine,
Exactly.
not man versus machine.
Right. Like AI can handle the technical stuff.
Right.
And that frees us up to focus on what we're good at.
Being creative, coming up with the ideas.
Exactly the stuff AI can't do.
Right, like the emotional connection part.
Exactly, that
Right.
human touch.
Think of it like this.
Okay.
Would you rather spend hours editing audio
Oh.
or coming up with amazing content ideas? I know what I'd rather be doing.
Exactly.
But okay, let's bring it back to our listener for a sec.
Okay.
After this deep dive on NotebookLM,
Yeah.
what's like the one thing we want them to remember?
I think if you're anything like us,
Yeah?
your head is probably spinning with possibilities right now.
Mine is.
This technology is new, but it's clear that it has the power to change things.
It really does.
How we learn, how we create, even just how we think.
It really feels like the future is here.
It does, doesn't it?
So here's a thought for everyone listening.
Okay.
How could you use NotebookLM?
Ooh, good question.
What would you create with it?
What about you?
I don't. Maybe I'd feed it my notes from this episode.
Oh, that's meta.
Right. Like, what would it even do with that?
I don't know, but I'd love to hear it.
Me too.
It's a good thought experiment.
It really is.
Get you thinking about all the possibilities.
Exactly. And on that note,
Yeah.
we're going to wrap up this deep dive.
Okay.
Until next time, keep exploring those possibilities.
Absolutely.